Welcome back to the K24 factory. We're down at Night Family Motorsport with the man himself, Kai, and we have the Corolla on the dyno. I've referred to this as Kai's car, but I believe that you are not the rightful owner, is that?
Not the rightful driver slash, yeah, I mean, I very rarely get to drive it.
So this is Kai's partner's car, it's Danielle's car, and it is a KE70 Corolla with a K24 A3. Fun fact, this engine was actually originally destined for ours 300ZX, but we never made it that far. Kai reached out and said, hey, you got that K24 under the bench? And
I thought I can find a good home for it. I have a little KE70 Corolla that's begging for something.
There you go, and it has found its rightful home. This has been done a joint effort between Kai, a bunch of mates. Dave from FFM Fabrications had a lot to do with it too.
Yeah. Paulie was in there swinging spanners.
Paulie doesn't do much. Come on, let's be honest. Nah, Paulie's a good man. So really cool. Awesome little car, very fast, cool little features. Dave's made up. Does Dave sell them? Did he make a kit for that or something? Or
well, it's all CNC drawn, so he has done a couple kits. He's done I think he's sold a couple that are unwelded for people who wanted to weld them themselves.
Did a little DIY kit.
Like a DIY kit. It's all cut and folded and you just got to weld it.
Alright, I'll link Dave's details in the description if he allows me to, and if he hasn't, then you can't find the details. But anyway, so custom plenum, catch can, and it's, what turbo is that? G35, no?
3584, yeah. So it's a 67 front wheel, 66 back wheel. So yeah, 67, 66.
Okay, and how much power does it make? You don't know?
I don't know. Like, so we originally put the car together, we ran it up at wastegate pressure because we're supposed to be bedding clutches in and all this sort of stuff. So on like 10 pounds, I think it made 400 and something on this dyno. And then obviously we got to the track, we bedded the clutch in it. Truthfully, just with time, we never put it back on the dyno again. But when we were racing it in the road trips and stuff like that, which we were racing, it's had around sort of 23 to 24 pounds of boost in it, which is as much as the current 3-port boost control. So that 100% on, it'll make about 23 or 24 pounds.
And what have you trapped in the 8th?
It's gone 111 in the 8th.
Sweet.
Yeah, so
fast.
It definitely goes. It's so yeah, we're interested to see, but yeah, what we're going to be doing is switching it over to, we're getting rid of the 3-port, we're going to a 4-port, just so that I can get a higher dynamic range of boost pressure in the car. Honestly, it probably doesn't need more power, but I just like the ability that in case the air's really bad and I need some trap speed, at the moment, like, it physically will not make any more than 23 pounds of boost, like to 24. So if the air's bad and I want to go fast because maybe one of my competitors is a little bit further ahead of me, I have nowhere else to go. I can't make the car go any quicker, whereas if I have the 4-port, then I have the ability to still add more boost if I need to. So that's the main reason we're doing this.
Yeah, sweet. So, speaking of bad air, today we've actually just finished up with ours Z. It is a Friday, it's a public holiday. The 300ZX just been tuned, it made 670 horsepower, and if you haven't seen that video, click the link in the corner. Kai was then hanging around to do this. It currently is 34 degrees, and here you go, ambient temp, 34 degrees, 65% humidity from Kai's weather station. So, speaking of bad air,
particularly crappy today.
Not a good day to dyno your car, is it? No.
No, but I mean, as we know, sometimes, like, well, Warwick last year, and you know, a lot of the time, sometimes we do race in air that is not favourable at all. Like, I don't know what the DA was at Warwick. I think it was like 6,000 feet or something.
Yeah.
It's above sea level, and it was like 35 degrees that day. Woody knows, he was there, he was racing.
Hot.
It was like horrible. So when we race, we don't get to pick what air we run in. So today, like no other, who cares? Air's bad, we'll deal with it.
There we go. So as Kyle mentioned, swapping over from a 3-port to a 4-port boost control solenoid. So it currently runs a 3-port. We've got top and bottom on the wastegate. Kai's going to run it up now, do some runs. Yeah. Are you going to try and max it as we're going to try and do?
I'll run it how we normally run it. So because everyone asks me, oh, how much power does it make? And I'm like, truthfully, I don't know. It's fuel mass wise, like with the ECUs calculating, it's showing probably somewhere in around 600-ish horsepower is my sort of guess. I'm going to expect it to, we'll run it up. I'll probably put some heat in the engine and then we'll just do a 4th gear hit like we normally do at the track. You know what I mean? We'll see what it makes. I think it should be somewhere in the 600s. And then, yeah, we'll switch it over. And, yeah.
It's worth noting Kai has gone through the motor. It has got a set of H-beams and stock pistons, yeah?
Yep, stock K24 pistons, and then, yeah, just a set of H-beams, and then I just freshened it. We did do a couple other things. It's got a Saruta head gasket, which has got like a It's got like a stopper fire ring
Yep.
in it. And
Yeah, I've
stuff like
seen
that.
those, yeah.
And set of head studs, got valve springs, it's got the K20 oil pump, and that is about it.
Sweet. Speaking of Dave with the inlet manifold, he also makes a sump rail here. I'll get down and have a look. The sump's good. Dave's made this sump, and Dave will probably still have that drawing on file for the sump rail too. So shout out to Dave.
So we put trapdoors and stuff in it. Learning from some other YouTubers actually that had some issues with rear-wheel drive K-series sumps. What's the Auto Perfection?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Brian.
Yeah.
No, that Brandon, I think it is. I don't know. They had issues with that, so we sort of took a leaf from theirs because they'd already had that issue when we were building this. So it's got trapdoors and everything all inside there, and I can absolutely attest it has absolutely rock solid oil pressure throughout an entire run of the drags. It's spot on.
The Celica you're talking about, hey? Yeah, that is. They're like they're deep into the eights, eh?
They've gone sevens. They've gone.
Have they now?
I think they went 780s or 770s.
God damn, that is a crazy
That's
car.
in a whole other league, but they did have some issues specifically under braking where they were losing oil pressure and it actually kicked a rod out one time doing that. So we
on diesel, damn.
Diesel, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
All the oil ran forward away from the pickup, and yeah.
That's a whoopsie.
Yeah. Anyway, you get that. So we kind of, again, you can on YouTube you can learn stuff. So
yeah, you can.
We put quite a bit of baffling and stuff in there, and I can say that I'm glad I did.
So Kaiser Man, we're going to be learning from today. Throw it up on the dyno, see what the difference a 4-port solenoid makes to your boosted car. Didn't you get stickers when you bought your Haltech keypad, mate?
Yeah, it's a long story.
Oh, at least you know what they do.
Yeah. Alright, let's turn it up, see what it does.
So what was that, 400-ish?
Oh, it was like 360 or whatever today. That's like £10 just on Wastegate. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see what this will do. We'll turn it up a bit.
Sweet. Shooting for the moon, but I didn't love it. Damn it! That is a spicy meatball. 570 horsepower is a pretty stout little K-series, but unfortunately today hasn't gone as planned, and Kai has just said we've lifted the head. Well, not we, you have lifted the head.
We have.
Or the dyno has lifted the head. Explain what you just explained to me anyway, so.
Oh, Woody and I were just looking, so I said, we haven't put it on the dyno for a long time, and when we had been running the car, we've been running it just top down on the boost control. We're just looking over the logs of the last time we took the car out to the track. To the track, obviously.
To the track.
To the track. And we can see that we were running the boost controller all the way, and then the coolant pressure is this yellow line here, and it's just, you know, nothing to speak of. No rise, and that's with the all in on the boost control. On the dyno though, where it's loaded it, I was worried. I did have the ramp a bit quicker on the dyno. I thought we'll try and get through it quickly, but even still, it's weirdly, like normally maxed out on the boost controller it makes about 24 pounds of boost. This time, the boost has just shot all the way in a very split second, all the way to about 30-ish is what we saw on the log.
So that was that
that's
first run.
It's going straight up. I don't know if there's maybe something where the wastegate hung up or something and it didn't open, or who knows, you know what I mean? But either way, it's run a shitload more boost at a very low RPM than it normally ever sees. Which, yeah, truthfully, probably my own fault. But anyway, if you look at the log from that run, this is the This is why we run a coolant pressure sensor.
So it's worth noting, Kai has got a bunch of sensors on this car for data, which is now paying for itself because if you didn't know you're lifting the head, you'd still be going, so.
Yeah, even though, because I don't think it's actually pushed any, but you can see straight away. So here's the coolant pressure trace from the run. You can see it's sitting there at 12 pounds in the ramp, and then as the boost comes up, you see all of a sudden it shoots up aggressively to 30 pounds. We got the engine protection set at 30. As soon as it sees 30 pounds in cooling system, it just cuts. So it's cut it instantly, which is great because it means that instead of it like chiseling out and blowing a huge hole outside your block or something silly like that, it catches it instantly as when the compromise in the head gasket. But yeah, what's done it obviously is, well, it's a combination of things, but this much boost at that RPM, so we're soaring into the 30s essentially, at sort of 5,000 RPM, and then probably combined with that ignition time. It didn't have a lot, it only had 13 degrees in it.
That's your...
Yeah, the green line's the boost, yeah. Only had 13 degrees in it. Maybe we could have probably had a little bit less there, possibly. I mean, it's one of those things. It's, again, when you're running it at the track, it doesn't have a problem, you know what I mean? So, like, it's fine. But obviously, just the way that the dyno was loading it through there, it's, she's got the gasket. Or, I mean, it's done quite a bit of work on this gasket. So, it's one of those stuff does not last forever, unfortunately, as much as we'd like it to. But then if you look, so then I was like, okay, fair enough. We'll slow the boost ramp down. And I was like, I pretty much already knew. I've played this game long enough before. If you get the gasket like that, it's normally gone. And sure enough, this is the next run with a slower ramp. As we can see, slower ramp, it definitely, the coolant pressure didn't spike anywhere near as badly. And now the boost was back to where we normally see at 24 pounds. And yeah, so, but it still did eventually climb all the way up to our cut pressure. So, anyway. Time to pull the head off.
Does that mean we go back past Fingers Place and pull that off? You got a spare gasket?
I don't have a spare gasket laying around, but no, it'll be that'll probably be me over the next couple of evenings or something. I'll get the head off it and see. Hopefully, again, this is like Woody had said. This actually shows you why we run all the data, why we run all the safeties and stuff. If you'd run this without any safeties or anything to that effect. Because it hasn't actually, like, even though I can guarantee you that's hurt the head gasket, there is still
nothing
at all pushed out this line. If you keep running it, it will properly torch the block or whatever. Whereas right now, we'll fling that off. It'll have a little bit of it'll look like pressure waves through the gasket. New gasket on, go again.
All right.
Anyway, today on the Skid Factory, you learn how to blow your head gasket.
So this episode may have taken a left hook, and maybe instead of a solenoid swap, it's how to replace the head gasket on your K24. Well, I don't know. Do I come round and give you a hand, maybe?
Could do. We can take it to the wood factory.
Well, I haven't got any hoists on yet, but hey, if you're patient, I'm happy to do that for you. Yeah. Somewhere to stash the car if you need to.
Yeah.
These things happen with cars, and Kai just said he'd rather it happen now on the dyno than at the track, and you're searching for a gasket. So Kai's going to get a gasket ordered. Seriously, if you want to bring it around to my shed and do it there, I'm more than happy to say I just don't have my hoist ain't installed yet, so it's...
Yeah. Oh, we can get there.
But by the time that this episode comes out and we can work...
Well, we might even swing around tomorrow and give you a hand with the hoist for a bit, but then I've got to scoot off to...
Get a new project car. When's the race season start for you for this thing? When you...
Probably the first race will be the first road trip, which is, what's that?
Plenty of time, mate.
Plenty. That's like a...
Sweet. All right, well, I'm going to make the call that we'll be pulling the head off this thing and fixing it, and we'll get back on the dyno at a later day. So, cut to my shed, Kai's shed, Dave's shed, whoever's place this car ends up at, and we'll fix the car.
We'll find the head gasket failure.
Well, these two blokes are officially the test mules for working on a car in the shed. We've got the K-Roller into the wood factory. Is the wood factory a good name? I still haven't settled on that yet. I mean, it's still the skid factory, but...
It's the skid factory. I don't know. I guess it's the woods factory.
We'll call it the Honda factory today. We're hooking into... Well, these guys are. I've been actually cleaning up a little bit because there's still junk everywhere. We're hooking in to get the head off the K24. So we've got Dave and Kai hooking in. And, what else needs to get done, mate? Put me to use.
Yeah, we'll just keep ripping. We'll get all the radiator out, get the rock cover off, get the valve gear off, get the front of the motor off, get the head off. Let's have a look at that gasket. I don't think it's too bad. When I drove it over here yesterday responsibly and gave it a couple of squeezes, the coolant pressure wasn't moving, but we know when we turned it up, it's definitely moving.
So what you're saying is when we put a gasket in, we can then go back straight to 30 pound, or?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet
Maybe
as.
wait for a little bit later in the reps to put it in.
Yeah, true that.
Where it stuck it in.
All right, hook in. Let's get it done. Oh, that smell of the 85 in the morning is so good, eh? Brilliant. Bit of a look underneath this thing. We've got a Hilux diff. This was a Rogan. Oh, he's even got his tag on there. Yeah, a little Rogan Industries weekend job. Matty loves Hilux diffs, doesn't he?
He does.
And alloy exhaust, which I think's pretty cool. And apparently Kai says it grows like 20 mil when it heats up, so.
It can do. It's not too bad though. Everything's covered out. It don't really have any dramas, does it?
It's cool. I reckon it's a race car, so.
Yeah.
Weight saving. And a R154 gearbox? Or is it a...
It's out of a 2TR Hilux, so it's, I think they technically call it a 151 or something. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this looks like a bit of Dave for sure.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That was Dave.
Look at those. How's the weight saving too, Davo?
It's all about, mate. It's all about. It's such a heavy car.
And this was the sump, which we didn't really get a shot of it when we were on the dyno, but again, also a Dave thing. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Bit of kit
Dave
for...
one-off.
Yeah. So hang on. Can people buy this stuff?
Well, I guess I can remake stuff.
Yeah? All right. Someone's going to ask for it. You know they will.
I've already had a few people ask me about it, but yeah.
All right. So $5,000, Dave will do you a kit.
Give or take it.
Ah, sweet. So now we're going to get this dump pipe off, and that's all we need to do down here, isn't it? Yeah?
Pretty well. Just dump pipe off. Yeah.
Sweet. All right.
It's not too bad to work on. We kind of figured it might need to come apart at some point, so it's kind of built like that.
This is the first time it's coming apart?
Yeah, this is the first time it's ever come
Yeah,
apart.
sweet. Nice. Oh, there's an email.
So you can handle that.
That's
Sweet.
it. Where do you have a go?
Oh, dude, that is so good. That's like cheating almost. Come on.
My turbo.
This is actually my first time playing with a Honda, and it's cool to see that the whole cam assembly just kind of comes off the whole cam box, I suppose. VTEC and all. That's really cool.
These little bits you got to walk out for. You see here, there's these are the pins that lock the VTEC lobe in.
And they can fall out.
Yeah. So a lot of the time when you go to reassemble it, you can put zip ties around the whole lot, but they're
Yeah, it's already falling out.
yeah. So that's why it's like just lift it and
Lift it level. There's also two sneaky 6mm bolts at the back too, so watch out for those ones. And now we'll start getting into some head bolts. That's really cool. This engine was like a wrecker motor too, and Kai said you pretty well just slapped it in, hey? So, I mean...
It's got basic stuff. It's got valve springs. It's got a different oil pump. It's got the K20 oil pump in it. Head studs. And then we epoxy filled the top of the block. So interesting to see how that's held up.
Oh, the old
That was a bit
epoxy trick.
Yeah, that's a bit experimental. Yeah.
Come on. Fish.
Round two.
And where are we going? Oh!
Fuel.
It's a squirter.
We press it like that way. Up.
Yeah. Oh, he designed it like that too.
Where is it? There.
Yeah. Ah, I'm gonna get the iPhone for that one.
Yeah, that's absolutely where it's gone right there. You can see the deformation on the top of it.
Yeah, I can see it. Which way you want to go?
Maybe so I can still see the combustion side. We'll have a good. Yeah.
This?
Yeah, just no reason.
So we'll start off with the gasket, and it's cool. As a mechanic, I've replaced plenty of head gaskets before, but in a performance world, it's kind of thing. I've always just ripped it off, you get the head skimmed, and away you go. Kai is the man and has the experience as a tuner, and he's showing me, and I'm forever learning. You can tell most of the time when a gasket is blown. I'd know to look for something like this, but the stuff that I didn't realise is the bubbling and the pressure from lifting the head.
Yeah, you can see it in the separator layer like that quite clearly. You see the actual, how it's like lifted and raised there.
Yeah.
And then you can see further up in the other cylinders, there's nothing there. This particular head gasket has a stopper layer, which is this little layer here, which is like an extra layer that focuses pressure right around the top of the cylinder. And you can clearly see there on the stopper layer, if we get the light on it, you see the heat transfer across it.
Yeah.
And it's actually fretting in the edge, where it's actually that right there is where it got the gasket.
On the head side, you can see it has been affected a little bit, so we'll run a straight edge over it to check, and it may be getting serviced, but you can see the bit of a fretting, the heat there really, but
Yeah, that's sort of just, this is just the benefit of running that safety, where as soon as the coolant pressure rise has been detected, the engine's shut off instantly.
Yep.
I can guarantee if that pull that we were doing on the dyno, if that continued, that would have absolutely torched the head and block.
Yeah, for sure.
It would have completely
it's
gone.
like
Yeah.
oxy torch out the side.
Yeah, it would have completely gone.
We Kai mentioned too the epoxy before, and I knew what was going on, but it's cool to actually see the process, and you obviously followed suit with advice from someone of, drill a few passages through for.
Oh yeah,
let a bit
well,
of coolant
more or less
through.
This has been done quite a bit in America, but what I did is that I actually did the factory head gasket. I just laid the factory head gasket over the top of the block after, because the epoxy was poured in, laid the factory head gasket over, then I just marked out where the coolant would flow through the head gasket, because it doesn't actually flow through the whole area. There's lots of, it only goes through certain points. And then I just, got the drill and just sunk the drill through a handful of times just so that coolant could still flow through. But then obviously this is like concrete, and it sort of just stiffens up the top of the block.
Yeah, it's rock hard. It's like,
Yeah.
then you get it machined like that, obviously too.
So that goes in, and then the block goes to the machine shop and got skimmed. So it got decked after this was already in.
Now, this is where the gasket blew through, and you can see how much it's pushed down
It's pushed the epoxy down like a good, I'd say it's like 2 or 3 mil. It's a full-on little channel there. Look, luckily, again, we'll run the straight edge across it, but it looks like it's helped. It's interesting to see if maybe the epoxy wasn't there, like what the effects would have been. Obviously, the whole reason this has even happened is it just had a massive boost spike that we weren't intending it to. I think best guess is the wastegate got stuck or something, because the car's never seen more than 23, 24 pounds of boost, and it saw like low 30s, 31, 32, and then it was where it was at as well. It was a high boost number like that is absolutely fine, but it happened at like 4,500 RPM, which is just way too low in the revs for it to be able to cope with that, and just so huge amount of cylinder pressure, and then it just finds a way out.
Oh, it bends the rods.
Oh, it bends the rods. Yeah, we're going to have to check that to see what I'm interested to see that just the old finger chrometer feels like it's about the same. Just
You'll be right, mate.
Yeah, they normally I'm not like that feels basically exactly the same, so I think it's fine.
We've just run the high-tech straight edge over the head, and everything seems to be good. Can't see any gaps there all over it, so Kai's feeling pretty confident with that. We're just going to give it a clean up. And the deck surface also seems pretty good. Kai's just checking out the bores and everything now, so making sure everything's all right. Oh yeah, I can.
On that side you can see.
I can see this side too, watermarks,
Watermarks where it's definitely been leaking, but luckily it hasn't been a huge amount of time between when we got it and then when we're pulling it apart.
Well, I suppose the whole moral of the story here is data is good, so you can catch it when you can say, hey, I'm lifting a head here, so.
Like I said, definitely that pull, if that dyno run had continued and any further, even though like the boost safety was just about to cut in and everything was about to cut in, but it just shows you how like split second it can be. Like we've saw that, I think you got footage of the log as well. Like, it's like coolant pressure's like this and it just goes like vertical.
Isn't that going to be the thumbnail? How to lift a head on a K24?
How to lift a head. That is how you do it.
All right, so I've made a decision to throw the head back on. We're going to get cleaning it up, and probably going to have to do a run to Super Cheap to get some supplies, because it is a Saturday and I need to get some, just like some Scotch Brite and stuff to clean this up. I don't like using anything too coarse on alloys, so get that done, and then I'm going to go buy Kai coffee and maybe a sausage roll from the bakery. Yeah.
Nice.
Righto, you keen on that?
Oh, hell yeah.
Sweet as. Boom. After a quick stop to Super Cheap Auto for some supplies, we've got this little, it's nylon brush to clean up some stuff, and
It's not bad.
razor blades, brake cleaner, and also this stuff which I haven't used before, but it is working well. We couldn't get any Scotch-Brite, but some steel wool pads on the cylinder head just to, you don't want to damage the alloy surface, but it's actually working really well to get just that last skerrick of gasket material off there. So it is leaving some fine like steel wool bits there, but we'll just give it a wipe off and a clean. Another thing is the dowels in the head were stuck in. They're meant to be in the block, so just a little pro tip, grab yourself something that is the right size that fits inside the dowel, and then grab your vice grips. I'm just going to use a rag so I don't damage the outside of the dowel, but you can get a good grip on it now. And then with this, you're not going to crush, with the punch inside there, you're not going to crush the dowel, so get in there, give it a bit of a wiggle and pop it straight out. And then we can punch these back into the block to be reused. Both the block and the cylinder head cleaned up quite well. Now Kai's unboxing the head gasket, which, knowing modified cars, is either going to be wrong or... Nah, it'll be the right one for sure. You can't get much wrong with a Honda K series, can you?
I wouldn't think so. I got this one from Jackie Chan.
Who's Jackie Chan?
Jackie Chan from DJ Motorsport. That's his name.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know this guy. This cleaned up really good with that steel wool, but as I said, it was leaving a bit of schmutz. This is just falling apart. So yes, a good cleaning agent, but make sure you do clean out all the ports, especially stuff like the oil port, which we've blown out. We also got the vacuum on all the ports too. So that is that. And to the left over here, we have got a Go Fast Bits EX44 Wastegate. This is going to be welded on the manifold. The wastegate Kyle was using, we think, has got a bit of corrosion on the actual shaft, so maybe that's why it strikes to 30 pounds. So we're going to have to chop this off the manifold and weld a new one on. I do have a TIG welder, but it's still in the box, so I'm still going to unbox it all. Still got to get gas and everything for it too. I haven't set up, so. This whole workshop setup is very fresh, so this is actually the first car we're doing quite a major job on. That's good to kind of work on and get a feel for where everything's gonna go and how it's working out. And I already want to make a few changes, and straight away, this is a fresh workshop, but more bench space. Even though I've got all of the workbenches, something like a mobile bench is definitely something that I want to use, so add that to the list. I'm not too sure if this is a cheat code either, but this ethyl alcohol won't leave an oily residue, so we're just gonna use this to clean off. Get a fresh rag. Make sure there's no oily residue. Should be using a cotton rag, but this is probably gonna leave schmutz on it too. Yeah, I swear that did work, eh?
Yeah, it does look good. I got quicker to the block too.
NTN. Cheat code. It's expensive stuff, but I know it's going to work well. Here, I'll give you that. I'll go get that rack again. Should just reuse the old gasket and use some Hylamar. Just like chunk it on there.
Smash it on, you reckon?
Bit of Hylamar and some black Toyota silicon.
Just call it.
Actually, you're using genuine Honda, aren't you?
I have genuine Honda sealant, yes. I'm a massive fan of it.
Third time's a charm. Sweet.
Yeah.
You're balancing. Alright. I need to come. It's to go back, doesn't it? Then we're cleaning out the block. There's a bit of just oil down in the ports trying to screw the head studs in, and it's not working. So we've got the...
You can feel it.
I knew it would come in handy. Oh yeah, there's heaps of stuff getting sucked out. Do you want to change it for a see-through, a bendy one?
It's not too bad. I think there was just those front ones. I think a little bit of oil ran down when I was cleaning it. And,
Yeah.
it's nice and dry now.
Let me know in the comments section if you've ever blown one of these up as an apprentice, because I know that I have. You ever done that, Kai, or not?
I hadn't personally done it, but I've seen them, hook up and then explode it.
Paint the workshop walls in diesel oil. Oh, good. Thank you, Joel. It worked out already. More friends rocking up to lend a hand. Paulie,
Yeah,
how are you, mate?
I'm helping empty the fridge.
Yeah, the fridge is already empty. So
I'm out. I quit.
Paulie's just brought in some
Some lube.
some ARP grease, and Kai was just explaining what these jiggers are, which I thought was also pretty cool, purely because I haven't played with Hondas, but we called them the Paulie springs. No, what were they actually called?
They're a lost motion spring, I think, is your technical term.
So basically, when the the VTEC
VTEC,
is, someone's going to get offended when I say VVT. When the VTEC's not engaged, this holds tension on the whole VTEC like system.
The third follower. Yeah, if you look at the other...
Yeah, I can show it with a pin.
Yeah.
So you've got the 3, and then the cam lobes, a different shape. So you got the center one, which is the more aggressive.
You can see it rides there. You see the little finger
Yep.
just
yeah, I
there?
can see that.
So that's what the spring rides on, and it holds tension on that just so that it
When
stays...
it's not engaged,
when it's not engaged, yeah.
Yep. Oh, sweet. Well, that was a kind of a brief explanation on how VTEC works too. So keep putting these.
We can go through that if you want, but essentially, it locks that middle follower to the outside ones with
That's someone else has done a video on that before, so maybe
Yeah, I'm
look
sure
up
there's lots of videos on
Engineering Explained. That's a
link-
good
link
one.
up here.
Link up the corner.
here, yeah. Goes from a small cam to a big cam at the flick of a switch.
That makes that bwop noise. We'll just step over to the torque wrench drawer. We've got 1/4, 3/8, 1/2 inch, also Tool Pro 1/2 inch. And this is the digital we've been using, which is going to be coming out very soon to Super Cheap Auto stores, so stay tuned. Kai's given me a little tip with the Honda was to lock the 3 lobes together just with a zip tie to save. There's like a pin in between which locks them all together, but to save them falling out, we've zip tied them all together.
Now we can go through and cut those zip ties, and all of it should just sit down.
Pick a drawer. And they're not in there. Damn it! Where's my side cutters? So much, here we go. Oh, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paulie.
Too good.
You just leave one in there for good luck, eh?
Yeah, just in the plug hole, yeah.
Paulie's resetting the tensioner with his vice hands. Legend. I don't. Hey, add that to the list. I got to get a vice. All right, good one.
Do you have a vice?
Hey, Paulie, what are you doing Tuesday? And you're gonna put the guides on, and then the chain on, tensioner, and then that harmonic.
I mean, what?
Get on that harmonic balance bolt needs to get done up to like at least 3 Newton meters too. So.
Oh, I think I'll...
Oh, Paulie's here for that.
I'll do it on my fingers.
Bridge needs to go over one, I think.
Where's the dowels on it? No dowel.
It has the bolts. Yeah, the dowels are built into 2 of the bolts.
Oh yeah, so that locates
one,
it.
and then the other one, there's another one which goes into 2 bottom
Honda
corners.
SMRT.
There's another one of those somewhere in here.
And this guy's now rocked up with beers, but He's the only. Oh, he's got one in his pocket. No way. Oh man. Someone's gonna have to do a run to the bottle, I think. So we got the manifold off the car. I believe this was a Dave job when the car was getting built. A nice stainless manifold, and it has got a 50mm outlet on it, but we're changing that for the EX44, the Go Fast bit. So that's getting put aside. That's going to get sent off to Dave to weld up because I don't have my TIG ready yet. And we've just kind of buttoned up the rest of the car. And nothing else needs to get done, eh? That's about it, yeah?
That's pretty much what we're doing today. Yep, we got the motor, the valve cover's back on. She's got a new head gasket in it, ready for me to brake later on. And yeah.
What about the diff? What's happening with the diff? No?
Yeah, I still got to do that. So yeah, we've got to get another diff center in it. It's got our spare center in at the moment, which has got an insanely noisy pinion bearing. So we got another center that we're throwing together at the moment. It's up at Macca's place.
Sweet as. All right.
Then just a little bit of direct forward nitrous.
A little bit of nitrous, you reckon, Paulie? Bring your kit around, we'll throw it on.
Yeah, I actually do have a kit. Let's get it.
We've busted out the lemon squash, and that means it's time to wrap up the episode. This originally was meant to be a 3-port versus 4-port boost solenoid video, and it's turned into how to lift the head featuring a K24 Corolla. So that's how it is. We're going to get this car back on the dyno with the 4-port solenoid and the new Go Fast Bits EX44 Wastegate, but that has to get fitted first. Kai also is a very busy man and has a lot booked in this coming week, so we're going to get back to it at another date. So stay tuned for that episode. Thank you for watching another episode of The Skid Factory. The workshop is forever evolving, and I've got a lot going on. And next week, I believe we may be on Kevo, or there may be another Commodore coming in the workshop too. So stay tuned. I'll see you next time. Thanks, dudes. Enjoy. Oh, love me a massage.
Can you talk to me about a massage?
Getting that.
Oh, yeah, those massages, eh?
Yep.
Everyone's how big's your biltong?
That's pretty accurate.
You should have got me like 30 seconds.
I'm going to be that guy and plug the merch. Z shirts in stock. These came out awesome. Design's been done by our mate Matt Tomasini, and absolutely loving it. Many sizes in stock. Get yours at theskidfactory.com. Also, let me know below, what would you prefer, RB or JZ? I've got to do another JZ shirt, I think. I'm going JZ. Yeah, Kevo.